Part 36. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 352. 7th Hokage Uchiha Sasuke Uchiha Madara, Ancestor, Martial Arts Arena. 1st Hokage Uchiha Madara. Let's go. Looking at the two unread messages in the group a few minutes ago, Ryosuke Yagami couldn't help but roll his eyes. For more than a month, Uchiha Sasuke and Uchiha Madara had been fighting almost every day. Both of them are invincible at the 6th path level. Although there is a slight difference in strength, the difference is actually small. Therefore, the two of them enjoyed the hardy battle to the last breath. After all, in the martial arts arena, you don't have to worry about life safety, and you can do your best to use whatever power you can or cannot control. Even if you pay for it with your life, it doesn't matter. Anyway, once you leave the martial arts arena, nothing that happens in the martial arts arena will affect your real body. Therefore, in addition to the enhancement pool in the group mall, the most popular one is the fighting arena function. Even more popular than Tongtian Bridge. Why? Because the levels on each level of Tongtian Bridge have strict level restrictions. If you don't break through the current level, you won't be able to get through it. Therefore, after many group members have been there once, it will take a long time before they go back a second time. After all, you know you can't beat him but you still go. Isn't there something wrong with your brain? 180. These two guys are really boring. Ryosuke Yagami shook his head, and then sighed quietly. In fact, he also wants to have an opponent who can evenly compete with him. Ryosuke Yagami couldn't even remember how long it had been since he had used his full power. Anyway, since his strength surpassed the level of God-level invincibility, he has no opponents. If Tongtan Kiao in the Hokage chat group can be more normal and given a serious God-level gatekeeper, then Ryosuke Yagami will definitely be the most loyal user of Tongtan Kiao. Pity. The Naruto chat group is going to do something sexy. Directly raise the strength of the gatekeeper on the 51st floor to the God King level. How can Ryosuke Yagami fight this? Fight a ghost. Otherwise, why don't you go and see the gap between yourself and the God King level powerhouse? Ryosuke Yagami even came up with the idea of finding Sadio. However, just when he was about to take action, a reminder sound suddenly came to his mind, interrupting his original plan. Ding! Congratulations on joining the Travelers Mutual Aid chat group, you have 30 minutes to prepare. Then, a 30-minute countdown appeared in Ryosuke Yagami's mind. Just think about it and you can see its existence. Ryosuke Yagami had a question mark on his face. At the same time, he called up this Travelers Mutual Aid chat group, and then a virtual chat group interface appeared in front of him. This, the third golden finger? Yagami Ryosuke looked dumbfounded. Are you so loved by cheating people like chat groups? There was a Naruto chat group in front of me. Now there is another Travelers Mutual Aid chat group. This thing, isn't it the chat group that the fake Beilyou joined last time? Ryosuke Yagami still remembered some brief information about this chat group that he got from the mind of the fake Beiryou. It seems like this chat group is a bit of a scam, he thought. Immediately, Yagami Ryosuke also saw that just at the moment when he was thinking about something, the chat group was prompted to join more than dozens of new members. He took a closer look and found that there were actually 100 new people joining the chat group. Bringing so many people in at once. Ryosuke Yagami was also a little confused by this operation. Subconsciously, he looked at the list of group members. 127/7000. There were 7,000 people in total, but only 127 of them had their avatars still on. 100 of them still a new member who just joined. Tisk tisk. Yagami Ryosuke made a tisk tisk sound in his mouth. This chat group, it's really deceiving. Thinking to himself, he clicked on his profile picture in the chat group. A handsome little brother who looks a little immature. Red eyes, black hair, no matter how you look at it, it's so rare. Not bad. Ryusuke Yagamai nodded in approval. Then he clicked on his group business card. Sure enough, a small interface popped up. Obviously this time traveler mutual aid chat group also has a group business card. Group member, Ryusuke Yagamai. Sex, male. No. 6901, to read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Combat power rating, late 6th level. Goldfinger, not claimed. The combat power rating is at the late 6th level. It seems that this chat group still cannot detect the effect of my talent entry. This late 6th level should be due to the Rinnegan Tenseigen. Otherwise, what is displayed here should be the peak of the 6th level. Ryusuke Yagamai said to himself while hiding his combat power rating. Among the group business cards, the only one that can be chosen to be hidden is the combat power rating. Others include name, gender, and even golden fingers. It's all impossible to hide. However, am I the first among this batch to join this chat group? Ryusuke Yagamai touched his chin and thought, and then looked at the messages scrolling in the chat group. Because there were 100 new people joining, and these new people were obviously excited and nervous about the situation at this time, so they talked in the group. There are too many people. The information is changing every second. Oh my god. Is this true? Am I really going to travel through time? Isn't that the plot in a novel? I knew I couldn't be just an ordinary person, people. From now on, I will never let anyone bully me again. Which world are you from? Are we from the same world? Does anyone know which world you want to travel to? Do you know? Please tell me about it. Haha. I'm invincible. I'm going to take off. What is this? Who are you? What does time travel mean? Hey, hey, hey. Are there any pretty girls in the group? Time travel. Do you want to travel to another world together in the future? Looking at the speeches of these newcomers in the group, Yagamai Ryusuke couldn't help but slightly raised the corners of his mouth. What a group of cute newcomers. And most of them have no sense of crisis at all. You actually thought you could take off just by joining this chat group? I really think too much. At this moment, someone from the old members of the chat group finally spoke. Xiaofan 555, please be quiet, it's so noisy every time new people join. It's true. Are the brothers upstairs an old member? Is the number after our name our number or something? Xiaofan 555, oh. You are quite smart. Yes, the number after the name is the number of each person when they join the group. The smaller the number, the earlier they join the group. For information about yourself, you can click on your avatar in the group member list. Saw it? Zhao Shui 123, is it time for new people to join again? This time the interval is a bit short. Is it because the newcomers died too quickly last time? What's the meaning? What dies too quickly? Will people die if they travel through time? Chris 666, brother newcomers, I advise you not to waste time chatting in the group. You only have 30 minutes to prepare. Now it is best to quickly prepare various wilderness survival equipment, and then bring some food and weapons, otherwise you will travel through time when the time comes. Xiaofan 555, you newcomers, don't blame me for not reminding you. The location of each time you travel is unknown, but there is a high probability that it will be some place where you cannot survive. Landing into a box is the tradition of our chat group. What's the meaning? Floor-to-ceiling box? Will we appear directly in the sky after time travel? Do you need to prepare a parachute? Impossible. This chat group invited us in and allowed us to travel through time, but in the end it wanted to kill us. What are you picturing? Xiaofan 555, do you know what probability is? The chat group graph is a survivor probability. Otherwise, Why do you think this chat group invites 100 new people at a time? Xiaofan 555, let me tell you this, your last batch of 100 newcomers are all dead now. No. I don't want to die. I haven't lived enough. I don't want to time travel anymore. Let me go back. No. Real or fake? Are you old members trying to scare us newcomers? Xiaofan 555, haha. What good does it do to scare you? Believe it or not. Chris 666, newcomers, hurry up and get ready, you only have 26 minutes left. I would rather believe something than something else. Fortunately, I have 2 guns at home. I want to bring them both. Gun? What family is upstairs? Could it be the underworld? I live in Yingjiang. Isn't it normal to have a gun? It's over. I only have a kitchen knife at home. Is it useful? Prepare more food. If you travel to some deserted place, you can live a few more days. Xiaofan 555, not bad, it's necessary to prepare more food. I think it was because I prepared enough food when I traveled through the time that I got through the most difficult 6 days in 5.0. Sujan 87, I also spent 3 days in the wild. Fortunately, I met a kind person. Xiaofan 555, hello, Mr. Sujan. Boss, are you out of seclusion? Sujan 87, not yet, but I want to take a break first. I happened to see new people joining the group, so I stopped by to watch the fun. Doesn't this group have red envelopes or something? Can't you old members provide some help to us newcomers? Isn't this a time traveler mutual aid chat group? We should help each other. Zhao Shui 123, haha. What a naive newbie would say. Xiaofan 555, don't even think about helping. Of course there is a red envelope function, but you newcomers haven't traveled through time yet, and you can't receive the red envelope. Then after we travel through time, can you give us some weapons and equipment? Yes, yes. Are there any magic secrets? Or a treasure of heaven and earth that will give you powerful strength after eating it? Let me borrow it from you, and I will definitely pay it back to you when I become rich in the future. There are a lot of newcomers below, almost all of whom are asking for help from older members of the group. Either they want magical secrets, or they want magical weapons or something. As for the old members of the group, none of them spoke. Obviously too lazy to deal with these ignorant newcomers. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 353. 30 minutes passed quickly. For Ryusuke Yagami, he had nothing to prepare for. If he needs to prepare anything to even reach the peak level of 6th level, then his luck is too unlucky, right? The old members in this group seem to be a bunch of old guys. Everyone actually likes to hide their own strength rating. Ryusuke Yagami also clicked on the group business cards of those old members, wanting to see how strong these old members were. The result? There were 27 old members in total. 21 of them had their strength ratings hidden. And 6 of them were not hidden. Almost all of them joined in the previous batches. Their strength is quite average. The strongest one is only at the 2nd level. But Ryusuke Yagami believes that there must be masters in this group. But these people are all old. 6 was very good. None of them were willing to reveal their true strength. After diving for 30 minutes, Yagami Ryusuke felt that his whole body was bound by an irresistible force, followed by a surge of time and space energy, carrying his body past directly through layers of world barriers. After passing through many world barriers, he finally felt that the space-time energy around him disappeared. Are you here yet? Yagami Ryusuke felt that a long time had passed, but in fact it was only a moment. When he saw the surrounding scenery clearly, he realized that he had been teleported to a desolate wilderness. Sure enough, Just as the old members of the group said, there is a high probability that they will be teleported to an uninhabited place. Ryosuke Yagami muttered in his heart. At the same time, he also heard a series of death notices of group members in his mind. There were dozens of notices, almost appearing at the same time. It seemed that there were 100 newcomers in this batch, obviously suffered heavy losses again. How many are still alive? Ryosuke Yagami opened the chat group and looked at the list of group members. There were 127 people on the list before, but now there are only 31 people left. In other words, among this batch of 100 newcomers, there were only 4 people. This included Ryosuke Yagami, the cheater. In other words, there were only 3 people who actually survived. 3% survival rate is too low. Ryosuke Yagami thought to himself. Xiaofan 555, so many people have died. It seems that these newcomers are not very good. Zhao Shui 123, it is indeed a bit stretched. Only 4 are still alive. I don't know if they can survive. How long? Chris 666, the 4 surviving newcomers, hurry up and get your golden fingers, which may help you tide over the difficulties. Ding. Group member 6908 is dead. You can view the death screen of this member in 10 minutes. Another death notice. There were originally 4 people. Now there are only 3 left. Xiaofan 555, another one died so soon? Wang Jiwei 6977, Weiwu. Where is this place? Why are there so many people around? Is it so dark? Sujan 87, newcomers, don't be nervous. Get the gold finger first. Maybe that one can help you. Of course, most of the free gold fingers in this group are actually more hip stretching, so don't have high expectations. Xiaofan 555, Boss Sujan is so right. For example, my golden finger stretches my crotch. Lucien 6932, hello everyone. I have traveled outside a village now. Can you tell me what should I do now? Shouldn't you go in? Xiaofan 555, oh. You're so lucky as a newcomer. You actually traveled directly to a place where there are living people. But my suggestion is that you first observe the surroundings and make sure that there is no problem in this village before going in. Not too late. Chris 666, Mr. Xiaofan is right. Some inhabited places in other worlds are not necessarily safe. For example, one of the few newcomers who survived in the previous batch met a cannibal village. Lucien 6932, cannibal village? It's so dangerous. Then I'd better wait and see first. Zhao Shui 123, is there another newcomer? How is the situation? Yagami Ryosuke 6901, not bad, although it is in the wild, but I have not encountered any danger for the time being. Xiaofan 555, is it in the wild? This is normal. Like Lucien's situation before, it is a small probability event, but sometimes not meeting people is not necessarily a bad thing. Zhao Shui 123, you, a newcomer, actually hit your own strength rating. Ryosuke Yagami 6901, I thought I could hide it, so I chose to hide it. And don't all the bosses do the same thing? Learn from the bosses. Yakami Ryosuke looked at the content sent by the old member named Zhao Shui in the group, smiled, and then posted a message. There are so many old people in this group, so why call it a time traveler mutual aid chat group? It really doesn't live up to its name. However, I am quite curious about what early stage gold fingers I can get. Yakami Ryosuke's eyes moved upward, and then fell on a flashing golden exclamation mark in the upper right corner. Ding! Do you receive novice benefits? Y/N. Of course. Ryosuke Yagami chose to receive the novice benefits without hesitation. The so-called novice benefits are what they call cheats. It may be some kind of system, some kind of talent, or some kind of physical fitness. It is possible. However, in most cases, the golden fingers given by free novice benefits are not very good, and may even be more deceptive. Only a few lucky ones can avoid the pitfalls, and then get more awesome early stage cheats. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. Why is it called early stage? Because the cheats given by this time traveler chat group can be upgraded through points. This feature has just been implemented by Ryosuke Yagami IC. The function of this time traveler chat group is actually quite simple. There is no group mall like the Naruto chat group. There are only two more important functions. One is strengthening. It can strengthen anything, including gold fingers. But strengthening gold fingers, the price is extremely expensive. One is the task template. This task template is the only way for this time traveler chat group to obtain points. The time traveler chat group will randomly release some tasks from time to time according to the different situations of their respective group members. Once completed, point rewards can be obtained. If not completed, of course there will be no point rewards. And the release time of the next task will be extended. There are no other penalties. It still feels more Buddhist. If you are a salty person, if you are a fish, then you can completely ignore these tasks. At most, there will be no rewards. You didn't want to do any tasks and ask for rewards. Naturally, it doesn't matter. Ding! Congratulations, you have obtained the newbie benefits, investment return system. Oh, it's a system flow cheat. Ryosuke Yagami was curious and wanted to call up the interface of the investment return system. It turns out there isn't one at all. Only a paragraph of explanation came to his mind. The return on investment system, as the name suggests, is a system in which you invest and get returns. For example, if Ryosuke Yagami invests his Kusanagi sword Shirayuki in someone, then he can randomly get a return of 20% minus 200%. Yes. You may not be able to get your money back in return from this system. Something even more deceptive. This investment return system also stipulates that what is invested cannot be recovered. Otherwise, the rewards you receive will be directly withdrawn, and this item or knowledge cannot be invested again. This directly avoids card bugs and unlimited rewards. For example, Ryosuke Yagami invests an item to someone, then snatches it back, and then invests it in another person. In this infinite cycle, he can use an item to make unlimited investments. Gathering system of wool. Pity. The rewards given by this system are not very good, but it is quite strict about things like card bugs. What a rubbish system. Ryosuke Yagami curled his lips. Sure enough, the free novice benefits are just unreliable. Those old members were absolutely right. However, at least this system is not particularly cheating. If you are lucky, a 200% return is not bad. And it just so happens that Ryosuke Yagami is one of those people who has 280 good luck. After all, a 1,500-fold luck bonus is no joke. Xiaofan 555, 3 newcomers, what golden fingers have you received? Let's talk. Lucien 8932, my golden finger has a passive damage reduction constitution, which can save 10% of the damage taken by attacks. It's not bad, but the value is a bit small. Zhao Shui 123, your golden finger is pretty good. At least you won't cheat yourself, and your potential for future upgrades is not low. Chris 666, this golden finger is great. Unlike mine, which was complete garbage before the upgrade. Wang Jiwei 8977, my golden finger is survival evolution, which allows you to evolve by adapting to harsh environments, right? I found myself trapped in an oil barrel. How could I still travel through time? Xiaofan 555, haha. It's normal. Oil drums are good too. Your oil drum is probably empty, right? I remember that the last time someone traveled into a water tank, it was a locked and full water tank, and he drowned within 3 minutes. Wang Jiwei 8977, it seems that I am pretty lucky, and my golden finger feels pretty good. Zhao Shui 123, Ryasuke Yagamai 8901, newcomer, what is your golden finger? Yagamai Ryasuke 8901, investment return system, a gold finger that depends on luck, the highest return rate is 200%, but if you are unlucky, it may only be 20%. Xiaofan 555, the golden finger of system flow. It's not bad, at least it's not a scam, but the early effect is not very obvious. Ryasuke Yagamai 8901, I went to take a look nearby. I just heard some wild beast barking. Chris 666, it's best for newcomers to avoid beasts from another world, because you never know what the beasts from another world look like. Lucien 8932, I've been walking around the village and haven't found anything similar to human skulls. There are also some children playing in the village. It shouldn't be dangerous. Xiaofan 555, not bad. It seems that your probability of survival has increased again. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 354. This Lucien's luck seems to be quite good. Ryosuke Yagamai looked at the speech of the newcomer named Lucien in the group. Clicking on this guy's group card, you can see that this guy is named Lucien, and his strength rating is not yet advanced. This is also normal. The strength of ordinary people is indeed far away from the first level. Basically, every time a new person is invited, their strength rating is not yet advanced. Like Ryosuke Yagamai. It's always just an example. Similarly, the strength rating of another newcomer, Wang Jiwei, is also not yet advanced. Neither chose to hide their strength ratings. However, if you haven't entered the rank yet, there really is nothing to hide. I don't know how many years ago the first person in this group was. But it has to be at least 10 years, right? After Yagamai Ryasuke closed the time traveler chat group, he was thinking about how long have the earliest time travelers in this group been in the group. Based on the current number of 7,000 people, this time traveler chat group has attracted new people to the group 70 times. There is no fixed time for recruiting people in the time traveler chat group. Sometimes it is long and sometimes it is short. Even if we recruit people once every 2 months on average, that is 140 months. That is a lot more than a year. In fact, this average may be far more than 2 months. During the chat with the old members, Yagamai Ryasuke also saw someone mention that the time when he joined the group was different from the previous batch of people. It's been a full year. In other words, this time traveler chat group may only invite people once every 5, 6 months, or even 7 or 8 months. If the time is long, it can even be as long as a year. Then, if calculated based on the average time of half a year, 70 times, that is, 35 years. In other words, the first batch of members who joined the group was already 35 years ago. And Ryosuke Yagamai was in the group before I have seen that the member numbered 01 is still alive. And among the first 100, there are 8 people alive. They are no 01, no 08, no 09, number 16, number 22, number 55, number 78, and the last number 100. These 8 people are all the first batch of members to join the group. Up to now, they may have stayed in the world they traveled through for more than 35 years. For such a long time, plus the time travelers with the help of the golden finger of the chat group, their strength is absolutely unimaginable. After all, in some fantasy novels, the protagonist can have the strength to destroy the world after 20 or 30 years. And how big is the world? If it were a world in the form of a plain continent, the diameter would probably be measured in light-year units. One who can blow up such a large world with one blow can imagine how powerful he is. Anyway, Ryosuke Yagami is now the strength is far beyond his reach. I am afraid that when he reaches the 7th level of God King, he may not be able to have such strength. Maybe he has to reach the 8th level to have such a level of power. Of course. In the chat group, these ancient members are not the protagonists in novels, and their life experiences and other aspects cannot be compared with them. But even so, the best among them must be at least 7th level in strength, right? Then it is better than now. Ryosuke Yagami is much stronger. It's really exciting. Ryosuke Yagami smiled faintly. It's a pity that this time traveler chat group doesn't have a function similar to a martial arts arena. Otherwise, forget it. Even if there was, Ryosuke Yagami would not reveal his strength so quickly. After all, it is essential to be on guard against others. What's more, they are still a group of old time travelers. Still have to be careful. In the forest, Yagami Ryosuke tried to fly, but found that it was much more difficult than in the Naruto world. Moreover, he only flew to an altitude of about 5,000 meters, and it was difficult to continue. Further up, there seemed to be an unspeakable sense of oppression that prevented him from continuing to climb higher into the sky. This world seems a bit complicated. Could it be a world with a fantasy background? Ryosuke Yagami thought to himself. From this point of view, the world he traveled through seems to be quite deep. It seems like you have to be careful, at least don't act recklessly until you find out what's going on in this world. Ryosuke Yagami thought to himself, while looking into the distance from an altitude of 5,000 meters. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. With the power of his pair of reincarnation eyes, within a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers, everything he saw was captured by him. Soon, Ryosuke Yagami found a town thousands of kilometers away. This forest is really big. Looking to the south, you can see the endless virgin forest, and to the north, there are snow-capped mountains. Only on the east side, thousands of kilometers away, can there be any human habitation. Thinking to himself, Ryosuke Yagami also flew towards the town thousands of kilometers away in the east in an instant. The speed was nearly 10 times the speed of sound. If this was placed in the Naruto world, this speed would not be suitable for Ryosuke Yagami. The words are simply too slow. But in this world, this is the fastest speed Yagami Ryosuke can achieve. The rules of this world are obviously much more complete than those of the Naruto world, and the laws of space and time are more obscure. Even the authority of the laws brought by my super god level entry can only shake the slightest. However, the level of the super god level entry should be a bit low. If it is a supreme level entry, it should be able to easily mobilize the power of the law. It can also be seen from this that the world is not simple. This makes Ryosuke Yagami even more cautious. After all, this world is completely unfamiliar to him. Thousands of kilometers away, at night at a flying speed of 10 times the speed of sound, Yagami Ryosuke easily crossed over in just over a quarter of an hour. After arriving near this town, Yagami Ryosuke also fell back to the ground and walked from one end of the town to the other. We entered this small town at the city gate. The town is not very big, and the outermost edge is a towering city wall. It is about 10 feet. To be honest, the height of this city wall is a bit too high for a small town of this size. But Ryosuke Yagami also discovered that the scratches that could be seen everywhere on the city wall were obviously caused by some powerful ferocious beasts. In the unknown primeval forest where he came, there were indeed many monsters of varying strength. Common ferocious beasts. In the eyes of Yagami Ryusuke, these ferocious beasts are just trivial. But for ordinary people, or practitioners of first and second level strength, they do pose a fatal threat. This city wall should be used to resist those ferocious beasts. Considering the strength of the ferocious beasts on the outskirts of the forest, this wall that is 10 feet high and nearly 5 feet wide is enough. Ryusuke Yagami thought to himself, while observing the cultivation level of the passers-by in this town. Most of the people in the town are ordinary people. They don't have any cultivation level. But all of them are physically strong. In terms of pure physical fitness, almost all of them are a taijutsu genin that can rival the Naruto world. Of course. What we are talking about here are serious genin, not the kind of Naruto and Sasuke. And some of those who carry swords are obviously passers-by of practitioners, and their strength is mostly around the first level. The second level belonging to a rare group of people. Along the way, Ryusuke Yagami only saw 3 practitioners with second level strength. It seems that even in such a big world, second level practitioners and above are relatively rare. At least it's not like you can find a lot of them in just any small place. Ryusuke Yagami thought to himself. In this case, he also released his perception boldly and enveloped the entire town in an instant. With his 6th order peak strength, he might not be able to do anything in this world. He is considered a high-end powerhouse. In a small town like this, he should be invincible. There is no need to be too cautious. And as Yagami Ryusuke's perception is released, he also senses more second-level strength. Practitioners. In the whole town, there are almost dozens of second-level practitioners. But there are only 2 people who can reach the 3rd level. One is in the south of the town, and the other is in the west of the town. This is the area where Yagami Ryusuke is currently located, not far from him. To be precise, it should be on the street next to him. Go meet this person for a while and instantly learn about the world from his mouth. Ryusuke Yagami instantly put his foot down and soared into the sky like a rock. In the blink of an eye, he passed by a row of buildings on the left, crossed a distance of 100 or 200 meters, and landed on a street next door. On the street. The passers-by around him were not surprised when they saw this. However, some first-level practitioners, Dijou, cast curious eyes at him. Ryusuke Yagami didn't care about this and he walked towards a restaurant where the 3rd-level cultivator he sensed was staying. The background of this world is somewhat similar to ancient society. There are no technological products. Like this small town now, the people in the town are dressed in the same way. Like the ancients. But judging from the strength, this is definitely not a world with a martial arts background. At least it is a fantasy world, or a world of cultivating immortals. Entering this restaurant called Prosperous World. Ryusuke Yagami's eyes with one sweep, it landed on a beautiful woman behind the counter. "Sir, please come in." The waiter from the restaurant came up to him at this time. Ryusuke Yagami glanced at the waiter. He looked about 16 or 17 years old and looked very smart. He seemed to be an ordinary waiter, but in fact he was, according to Yagami Ryusuke's perception, the waiter in the shop also has a second-level cultivation level. "I'm looking for your shopkeeper." "Ryusuke," Yagami said angrily. The waiter was slightly startled and looked at the beautiful woman behind the counter who was settling accounts. "Sir, our shopkeeper is busy right now, why don't you wait a moment and have something to eat first?" The waiter said. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 355. Ken. Ryusuke Yagami nodded obediently, and then under the guidance of the waiter, he came to an empty table in the lobby on the first floor and sat down. "Sir, you can take a look at our restaurant's menu at this time." The waiter handed over a thin booklet. The cover of the booklet was dark yellow and looked a little old. Open the booklet, and there were names of dishes one after another, with their respective prices below. Ryusuke Yagamai randomly ordered 3 side dishes. Ordered another bottle of wine, and then asked the waiter to go down. Croton stone, is it some kind of gold? Ryusuke Yagamai just saw that the price units written on the menu are all using this kind of crotch goldstone. It can be as small as 1 penny and as much as 1 or 2 taels. Obviously, for Ryusuke Yagamai who has just arrived in this world, as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't have this kind of currency. But Yagamai Ryusuke doesn't know how to eat the king's meal. Although he doesn't have this kind of croton stone, someone will bring it to him soon. In about a quarter of an hour, Yagamai Ryusuke, the 3 plates of side dishes and a bottle of wine that were ordered were served. Guest, please use it with ease. After the waiter finished speaking, he turned around to greet other customers. Yagamai Ryusuke poured himself a glass of wine, brought it to his mouth and took a sip. Quite ordinary, he commented, then picked up his chopsticks and tasted the 3 plates of side dishes. They tasted pretty good. Mainly because the ingredients were some kind of animal meat that Ryusuke Yagamai had never eaten. It shouldn't be a ferocious beast. After all, it was a ferocious beast. His strength is impressive. If it were ferocious beast meat, it would not be sold so cheaply. Maybe some kind of poultry. Yagamai Ryusuke thought to himself. At this moment, a hurried figure came in from outside the restaurant. Guest officer. I'm looking for someone. Before the waiter 923 who came up to him could say anything, he was pushed back by this person. Then this person glanced at him and walked quickly towards Yagamai Ryusuke. Sir, everything you want is here. The man took out a box from his arms and handed it over with both hands. Just leave it and you can go. Ryusuke Yagamai drank wine and said casually without looking at the man. After hearing this, the man put the box down respectfully. Sir, I'll take my leave then. After saying that, the man turned around and left. He came and went in a hurry, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. At this time, in the lobby on the first floor of the restaurant, a table of guests glanced towards the door, followed by a bearded middleman. The young man said, is that person just now the second son of the Jin family? Why do you come and go in such a hurry? It is indeed the second eldest son of the Jin family, but I don't know who that young man is. Let's eat and stop meddling. My companions at the same table glanced at Ryusuke Yagamai's table, then turned away and no longer cared about this matter. The Jin family, in this Changlin town, is just an ordinary martial arts family. There are 6 or 7 martial arts families like the Jin family in this small town of Changlin. The strongest ones are only in the middle and late stages of the second level. For ordinary people, they are naturally untouchable. A behemoth. But for warriors like them who travel all year round, a martial arts family in a small place like the Jin family, which is just an ordinary thing, does not need to be too fearful. However, to allow the second son of the Jin family to come over in person in such a hurry, the person who delivers things, Bob, is obviously not a simple character. Warriors like them who are used to traveling around, naturally know the importance of not causing trouble for themselves. Curiosity is such a thing. Sometimes it is equivalent to a killing knife. Half an hour later, Yagamai Ryusuke put down his chopsticks and waved to the waiter. Take the plate away and bring another glass of wine. He ordered. Okay, guest. The waiter quickly cleared the table and left with an empty plate. After a while, he came over with a bottle of wine and put it on the table. Is your shopkeeper finished? Ryusuke Yagamai asked. I'll ask. The waiter said uncertainly. Ryusuke Yagamai nodded and waved his hand to let him go down. After a while, a gust of fragrant wind suddenly drifted into Ryusuke Yagamai's nose. He looked away from the window and looked across. I heard that, guest sir, you have something to do with the slave family. The beautiful woman looked at the young man opposite with a charming smile. The young man looked about 16 or 17 years old. His face was handsome, but a little immature. His clothes were somewhat different from those of the people in the town. The woman looked at him carefully. At the same time, his eyes were also shining with curiosity. "Excuse me, shopkeeper, I have something I want to ask the shopkeeper about." As he said that, Ryosuke Yagamai reached out and opened the box next to him. Inside the box were neatly stacked Kroken tickets. Each one had a face value of 100 taels. Ryosuke Yagamai took out 5 Zhonglai and handed it to the woman opposite. 500 taels, the guest officer is really generous. The woman smiled, stretched out her hand and took the golden ticket with her slender fingers like white onions. She looked at Yagamai Ryosuke with a smile and asked, "I don't know what you want to know about, sir. I want to know if there are any martial arts masters around here." Ryosuke Yagamai asked. He listened to people chatting around him while eating, and he also knew that this world practiced martial arts. But it was not the martial arts of the martial arts world. It was the kind of martial arts of the fantasy world. It was destroyed at every turn. The sky destroys the earth, traveling through 9 heavens and 10 earths. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. It's no wonder that in this small Changlin town, there are 2 masters of 3rd level strength. Although the woman in front of me should be an expert hermit who hides her own strength. Her strength should not be known to outsiders. But even if this woman is eliminated, there is still a 3rd level figure in this small Changlin town. Experts are sitting here. It can be seen that in this world, the 3rd level strength is not that powerful. After all, even such a small place has a 3rd level. If it is that kind of big city, or some large sects among them. I'm afraid there are as many 3rd level people as dogs, right? A nearby expert? The woman smiled and said, "Sir, you are asking the wrong person. How can a businessman from the slave family know anything about martial arts masters?" Ryosuke Yagamai looked at her. "Shopkeeper, you and I both know that you are not an ordinary businesswoman. So, please reply to my questions." Hearing this, a strange look flashed in the eyes of the woman opposite. After she pondered for a moment, she suddenly stood up and said, "Why don't you, sir, go to the backyard with me to chat?" "Ken." Yagamai Ryosuke nodded. He is far stronger than this woman. Even if the other party wants to play any tricks, Yagamai Ryosuke is happy and not afraid. "Then come with the slave family." The woman smiled and glanced at Ryosuke Yagamai, then turned around, twisted her slim waist like a water snake, and walked towards the backyard in a graceful manner. Ryosuke Yagamai also followed. Other diners in the lobby watched. Many people here are also a little envious. After all, the owner of this restaurant is so beautiful. 9 out of 10 men who come here to eat have thoughts about her. It's just because of the rules of Changlin town. It's just easy to be violent. Moreover, to be able to open such a big restaurant in Changlin town and look so beautiful. No matter how you think about it, you know that there must be a backer behind it. Therefore, anyone with brains, they won't mess around. This pretty face is really cheap. Haha. Women are just superficial, what's the use of being pretty? The key is to be strong enough like me. Come on, with your looks, only women who spend money can like you. What did you say? You're just telling the truth, aren't you convinced? Go out and practice. Let's go and see how Grandpa teaches you a bird. The quarrel in the restaurant lobby had nothing to do with Ryosuke Yagamai. He followed the female shopkeeper in front of him to a courtyard in the backyard of the restaurant. "Sit down." The woman invited him to sit down in the yard. "Didn't you ask for this gentleman's name?" The woman looked at him and asked. "Ryosuke Yagamai." "Yeshen?" The woman thought about this surname, but she had never heard of it at all. Jiyan ran from the slave family. "Shopkeeper Ji, could you answer the previous question?" Ryusuke Yagami looked at Ji Yanran in front of him and asked again. Mr. Yagami wanted to know if the nearby martial arts masters wanted to challenge them. Ji Yanran said, if this is the case, then the slave family recommends that you go to Yuntian City 300 miles away. There is the largest sect in this place, Yuntian Dao sect, which meets your requirements, sir. Is this Yuntian Dao sect very powerful? Ryusuke Yagami asked. Very powerful, Ji Yanran nodded and said, Yuntian Dao sect is the overlord of Yunzhou. There are many masters in the sect, but I don't know how strong Mr. Yeshen is. Possibly a match. Be specific. Ryusuke Yagami said. However, from Ji Yanran's words, he at least knew that the place he was in now was a realm called Yunzhou. And the Yuntian Dao sect she was talking about was the overlord sect in Yunzhou. Power. From this point of view, the strength of Yuntian Dao sect should be very strong, right? After all, it is a sect that can dominate a state. It should not be too stretched. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 356. Yuntian Dao sect is the dominant sect in Yunzhou. There are over 100,000 disciples in the sect. But most of them are outer disciples and handyman disciples. The strength of outer disciples is mostly at the first level. When it comes to the inner sect, the strength of its disciples is basically around the second level. Some true disciples can have third level strength or combat power. And the real senior leaders of the sect, such as elders etc., at least it's level 4 strength. According to Ji Yanran, any elder of Yuntian Dao sect, even the outer elders, is far stronger than the overlord of a small place like Changlin town. That's right, one is of third order and the other is of fourth order, so the difference is naturally not small. And in Yuntian Dao sect, I heard that there is still a 6th level powerful elder. This is the true foundation of Yuntian Dao sect. Certainly. This 3rd level, 4th level, etc. was estimated by Yagami Ryusuke himself. According to Ji Yanran, the 1st level in this world is the Qi and Blood realm. It mainly transports Qi and blood and tempers the physical body. The 2nd level is the True Energy realm. Cultivate a breath of true energy and make it grow stronger, and eventually it can crack mountains and crack rocks. An ordinary army of thousands of people would only stand in wait to be killed when faced with masters of the true Qi realm. The 3rd level is the spiritual light realm. Breed a little spiritual light and spread it throughout every cell in the body. When the spiritual light spreads everywhere throughout the body, it will be the state of perfection. The spiritual light realm is already an existence that is completely unmatched by the earthly army. One person is against one country, it's easy. However, according to Ji Yanran, Yunzhou is a large state where the sect's strength is widespread. There is no distinction between countries. However, outside of Yunzhou, I heard that some people established dynasties in other places. There are many powerful dynasties among them that can rival or even surpass the existence of Yuntian Daozong. Ji Yanran herself is a master of the spiritual light realm. And it has reached the perfection of the spiritual light realm. The aura is everywhere and everywhere. The strength is somewhat stronger than that of the overlord in Changlin town. And above the spiritual light realm is the universe realm. It contains the universe and creates the world. The martial arts in this world follow the inner world flow. Starting from the Kinkan realm, you have officially entered this genre. A Kinkan realm warrior can create a universe of heaven and earth within his body, and use the power of the inner heaven and earth to erupt with power that can destroy the heaven and earth. His strength is more than 1,000 times stronger than that of the 3rd level spiritual light realm. And the 5th level world realm warriors after the Kinkan realm are even more powerful. World realm, where the world already has the ability to fly. Yes, in this world, only those at level 5 can fly. Otherwise, no matter how powerful the Kinkan realm warrior is, he will not be able to fly without the help of external objects. This is the limit of the rules of heaven and earth. Only by nurturing a true inner world and perfecting the world framework can the power of the inner world be used to resist the power of the external world, thereby achieving the purpose of flight. However, the flying speed of 5th level world realm warriors is not fast, and it is not as fast as running on the ground. Therefore, world realm warriors generally do not use flying to travel. Only when one's strength reaches the 6th level domain lord realm, the speed of flying will be almost the same as the speed of running on the ground. At this time, the warrior's battle stage has basically moved to high altitude. However, 6th level domain lord realm warriors cannot break through the limits of the 2nd level of heaven and earth. What is the limit of heaven and earth? Ryusuke Yagamai also asked Ji Yanran this question. The so-called limit of heaven and earth is an unsolved mystery in this world. Ji Yanran replied, the limit of the 1st level of heaven and earth is the airspace 1000 meters above the ground. If you step on the earth and climb 1000 meters high mountain, there will be no problem. But if you are a world realm warrior and fly to an altitude of 1000 meters, then this height is your flight limit. This is the limit of the 1st level of heaven and earth, that is, the ultimate flying height that a world realm warrior can reach. If you exceed this flight altitude, various negative states will appear, causing your inner demons to breed, and eventually you will go crazy. Ji Yanran also had a look of fear on her face after she said it. Obviously, she must have seen the kind of warrior who wanted to exceed the limit of the 1st level of heaven and earth, but in the end his inner demons grew and he went crazy. With her 3rd level strength, facing a crazy 5th level strong man. One can imagine what a deep psychological shadow it left on her at that time. The limit of the 2nd level of heaven and earth is at an altitude of 5000 meters. This is the flight limit for the strong ones in the territory lord realm. Above 5000 meters, it is the restricted area for the strong ones in the territory lord realm. Ji Yanran said. What about above the territory lord realm? Ryusuke Yagamai asked. His current strength should correspond to the territory lord realm in this world. But Ryusuke Yagamai feels that the territory lord realm should not be the limit of this world. After all, a Yunzo can already there is more than one strong person in the territory lord realm, so what about outside Yunzo? What about the places that are more prosperous than Yunzo? There must be strong people above the territory lord realm, right? I don't know about this, but I heard that Yuanzhou, which is thousands of miles away from Yunzhou, once had an unparalleled strong man. The other person should be a strong man above the domain lord realm. Ji Yanran shook her head and said. She has never left Yunzhou. After all, Yunzhou is so big. As a warrior with a 3rd level spiritual light realm, she has not even visited Yunzhou, let alone left Yunzhou. Heading to a farther place. The dangers along the way are countless. Generally, warriors of the 3rd and 4th levels of strength probably do not have the ability to leave the state where they were born. Coming out of the bustling human world restaurant, Yeshen Ryuzyuk was just about to go to Yuntian City 300 miles away, but he found that the door of the restaurant had been surrounded by a team. It can't be said to be surrounded. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. The other party looked like that's very polite. I didn't mean to use force. This gentleman, my elder welcome. An old man who looked like a butler said politely to Ryusuke Yagamai. Your master. Ryusuke Yagamai looked at the other person. This old man looked ordinary, but in fact he was a warrior of the 2nd level of true energy. Given his strength in this Changlin town, he is not considered a weakling. Then lead the way. Ryusuke Yagamai nodded and said. If nothing else, the master mentioned by the old man should be the overlord of Changlin town. The overlord of a small place is obviously not very powerful. Moreover, at Ji Yanran's age compared with the younger 3rd level spiritual light realm warriors, the overlord of Changlin town is probably very old. 0 Please give me flowers. After all, Ji Yanran seems to have some status and background. The reason why she settled in Changlin town is even more, most of them seem to be avoiding trouble. But the overlord of Changlin town is really a native warrior of Changlin town. He is called a warrior in Changlin town for short, local snake. Changlin town, Lin family. Linwuji, the ancestor of the Lin family, is the #1 master in Changlin town. Third level of martial arts, spiritual light realm cultivation. Under the leadership of the housekeeper, Yagami Ryusuke walked through the Lin family's huge mansion and arrived at a courtyard behind the mansion. Master. The old housekeeper said respectfully to the bearded middle-aged man in front of him. Go down. The long-bearded middle-aged man waved to the old butler, then laughed and warmly invited Ryusuke Yagami to sit down. I don't know what this gentleman's name is? Asked the long-bearded middle-aged man. Ryusuke Yagami. Yakami Ryusuke said calmly. It turns out to be Mr. Yagami. The middle-aged man with a long beard stroked his beard and smiled. Old man Linwuji, I wonder if Mr. Yeshen has anything to do when he comes to Changlin town. If so, I can help. Linwuji's words are as if he regards Changlin town as his private territory. This is to remind Yagami Ryusuke, an outsider, that Changlin town is his territory. In this case, I really need Mr. Lin's help with something. Ryusuke Yagami said. Oh. I don't know what's going on. Linwuji asked. He was just being polite, but he didn't expect that Ryusuke Yagami was really ready to let him help. However, Linwuji couldn't be sure of Ryusuke Yagami's true intentions at the moment. He only knew that the other party was with he had contact with the proprietress of the Prosperous World. Linwuji knew the proprietress of the Prosperous World. Like him, she was also a spiritual light realm warrior. In the entire Changlin town, they were the only two spiritual light realm masters. However, the proprietress of the Prosperous World has no intention of competing for hegemony. She just wants to guard her own 3-acre land and be the proprietress of a restaurant. Therefore, there is no substantial conflict between the two. It is necessary to guard against others. Linwuji uses himself to save others, and feels that the boss lady in the Prosperous World must have some agenda when she comes to Changlin town. There is no action now, which can only mean that it is not time yet. Therefore, Linwuji has been sending people over the years he was staring at the Prosperous World. Today he learned that a local man who could not tell the truth had contacted the landlady, so he immediately sent someone to invite Ryusuke Yagami to come to the Lin family as a guest. He planned to find out the purpose of this person. Look. Let's see if he has some agenda. Ryusuke Yagami doesn't know these inner thoughts of Linwuji. If he knew, he probably just wanted to say that Linwuji really thinks too much. A small Changlin town, in his it may be a treasure in its eyes, but in the eyes of Ryusuke Yagami, it is nothing. Even Ji Yanran, the proprietress, probably doesn't take this little Changlin town seriously. Only Linwuji, one day comes I feel like I am being persecuted and paranoid. I always feel that Ji Yanran is plotting something. He wants to harm himself. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 357. I would like to ask Mr. Lin to answer some of my questions. Ryusuke Yagami said. Immediately, a ray of spiritual power penetrated into Linwuji's brain in front of him, and he completed the control over it in an instant. Linwuji, who had been acting hypocritical and polite just now, had a different expression on his face at this time. Became sluggish. Yagami Ryusuke didn't need Linwuji to answer him, he could find the answer he wanted from Linwuji's memory. After a moment, Yagami Ryusuke let go of his control on Linwuji. In this case, I will take my leave. He stood up and said. Mr. Yagami, walk slowly. Linwuji seemed to have gotten the answer he wanted. looking happy. Little did he know that he had just been completely trapped in Yagami Ryosuke's illusion, and everything he thought had happened was just an illusion. However, unless Linwaji's cultivation level breaks through to the 6th level in the future. Otherwise, he will never rest assured that he has fallen into the illusion of the night god Ryosuke. But with Linwaji's age and talent, he may not even be able to reach the 4th level in this life. Let alone the 6th level. That is even more impossible. By the way, what gift is Mr. Lin talking about? Ryosuke Yagami suddenly stopped 373 and asked. Look at my memory. Linwaji said with a smile, and then asked Ryosuke Yagami to wait for a moment, and he turned around and went to the room behind him. After a while, Linwaji came out. There was already a square box in his hand. The box was opened. The space inside is much larger than it looks from the outside. But it is only 5 or 6 times larger. And what is placed in the box are some Kroken tickets, bottles of elixirs, and basic books. Needless to say, Crow gold tickets are the currency of this world. The stack of gold tickets in the box is a total of 800,000 taels. It is enough for Ryosuke Yagami to spend in this world. And before Yagami Liangji also used illusions to hypnotize another rich man in Changlin town, the second eldest son of the Jin family. The other party gave him 10,000 taels of gold tickets. In comparison, Linwaji's family fortune was it is too thick. These 800,000 taels are far from the limit of Linwaji's net worth. The huge Lin family assets are probably more than millions of taels. However, the number of golden tickets that can be withdrawn at any time is only a few hundred. About 10,000 taels. The 800,000 taels of gold tickets now are quite a lot. And those bottles of elixirs are elixirs used for cultivation in this world. Ryosuke Yagami's view of martial arts in this world. I'm quite curious about the system. I want to practice it and have a look. After all, in terms of potential, the martial arts in this world can at least extend to the 7th level, or even higher. As for the last basic book, that is the technique practiced by Linwaji himself, although Yagami Ryosuke doesn't look down on this low-level technique. It's okay to take a look at it and gain a deeper understanding of the martial arts in this world. Thank you very much, Mr. Lin. Yagami Ryosuke closed the box, took it with a smile and put it away. Mr. Yagami, this is just a little thought from me. Linwaji said with a smile. He had no idea that this idea of his was forcibly instilled in him by Ryosuke Yagami. Otherwise, how could he give so much money and the skills he had practiced to an outsider? Or an outsider meeting for the first time? This is too outrageous. But at this time, Linwaji didn't feel there was anything wrong with doing this. The illusion was so terrifying. He left the Lin family. Ryosuke Yagami went straight for 300 miles. He left for Yuntian City outside. On the way, he opened the Time Traveler Mutual Aid chat group again. He looked at the messages in the group. During the time he was inquiring about the news, the number of unread messages in the group had exceeded 999 plus. In addition to the 4 old members who talked before, there are 3 more people. Zhou Xianming 166. In this way, the level of the world you traveled through should not be high, but in the world of martial arts, it is also it's above average. Xiaofan 555, it's pretty good. In fact, there are advantages to being low in the world. At least you won't die easily. Lucien 6932, I think so too. It seems that my chance of survival has increased again. That's good news. Wang Jiwei 6977, I'm envious. Brother Lu, your place is a martial arts world. Unlike mine, it's just an ordinary modern urban world with no potential at all. Chris 666, you can't say that, modern times. The urban plane also has an advantage, it is easier to survive. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. Shentushiu 333, someone in the same batch as me also traveled to the modern urban world, and now he is a big boss now. I am living a pretty cool life. Wang Jiwei 6977, but I only lived here in 1992, and I was still in Xiangjiang. Xiangjiang was very dark at this time. Xiaofan 555, what are you afraid of? Don't you have a golden finger? In your world, with your golden finger, it's too easy to survive. Don't take advantage of it and be good. Shen Lingqian 178, there is another newcomer? Why haven't you seen him talk? Zhao Shui 123, listen to that newcomer before. I went to check for the movement of some wild beast. Maybe something happened. Wang Jiwei 6977, isn't it? Our batch of newcomers is going to be reduced again? Yagamai Ryasuk 6901, ahem. I'm still alive, not dead. Xiaofan 555, hey. It turns out the newcomer is still alive. Why hasn't it bubbled up for so long? Ryasuk Yagamai 6901, I found a small town nearby and went to the town to find out some news. Lucien 6932, Brother Yagamai, did you also find living people in your world? By the way, did Brother Yashin find out about the situation in your world? Wang Jiwei 6977, curious / is it a world with extraordinary power? Or is it a modern urban world like me? Ryasuk Yagamai 6901, it's a martial arts world, probably with a fantasy background. The town I went to called Changlin Town is not very big, with a population of 20,000 or 30,000, but the proportion of warriors is quite high. Xiaofan 555, Fantasy World? Damn. Brother, you are so prosperous. Shen Lingqian 178, the newcomer is lucky, he actually traveled to a fantasy world, and he is not dead yet. Zhao Shui 123, the last one is the most important. Our group, in fact, many of the newcomers who come here every time have traveled to worlds like fantasy and fairy tales, but most of them have landed in boxes. Wang Jiwei 6977, I'm envious. I really want to go to the fantasy world too. Chris 666, if the newcomers can survive, their achievements should be high. Shentuxio 333, what are you thinking about? How can it be so easy to get confused in the fantasy world? Zhou Xianming 166, yes, Brother Shentu also traveled to a world with a fantasy background. Although it was a fantasy floor tile, he was still miserable back then. Shentuxio 333, I'm pretty lucky. At least I got through it. I wonder if the newcomers can get through it? Ryasuk Yagamai 6901, it's okay for the time being. I asked around and found that there is a very powerful sect nearby. I plan to go and check it out. 0. Lucien 6932, Sect. Are you going to become a disciple? Ryasuk Yagamai 6901, let's talk about it first, let's take a look first, and people may not be willing to accept me. Lucien 6932, that's right. Sects in the fantasy world should be very strict in recruiting disciples. We are wearing clothes, so our qualifications are probably not very good. Xiaofan 555, speaking of becoming a disciple, I went there to become a disciple, but they didn't accept me at all. I'm furious. Zhao Shui 123, and then you wiped out the family. Squinting smile. Xiaofan 555, I am a member of the demon cult. Isn't it normal to kill people all over the house? Wang Jiwei 6977, wow. Brother Xiao, are you still a member of the demon cult? By the way, Brother Xiao, what world are you traveling through? Xiaofan 555, haha. It's nothing, I was forced to join the demon cult. As for the world I traveled to, it was similar to Lucien's. It was also a martial arts world, and you should all have heard of it. Lucien 6932, have you heard of it? Is it some famous martial arts world? Yagamai Ryasuk 6901, slaying the dragon by relying on the sky. Xiaofan 555, hey. You guessed it right? Wang Jiwei 6977, ah. The Legend of Heaven and Dragon Slaying. Zhou's Hiruo. Zhao Min. Xiao Zhao. Daiki Si. Madame Kill All. Lucien 6932. No, Brother Wang, you are not normal. What's going on with Master Me? Xiaofan 555:6 or you are 6. Master Mija is also interested. Admire. Wang Jiwei 6977, no, I just followed what was said. I am not interested in Master Mija. Ryasuk Yagamai 6901, what time did you travel through? Xiaofan 555, Rai smile/guess? Zhao Shui 123, no need to guess, this guy was originally going for women like Zhou's Hiruo, but it turned out that the time he traveled through was when Zhang Qiushan just disappeared, which is still early in the plot 2.8. Xiaofan 555, Sister Zhao, you can't tear yourself apart even when the going gets tough. Woohoo. Lucien 6932, is it so early? But this is good, at least it has more development time. Wang Jiwei 6977, Brother Xiao, have you embraced the beauty now? Xiaofan 555, ahem. Regardless of this, we are still good friends. Wang Jiwei 6977? Zhao Shui 123, have you forgotten that this guy joined the demon cult? To be precise, he should be a traitor to the demon sect. Lucien 6932, awesome. Joined the demonic cult and then betrayed the demonic cult. Is it because of the great shift in the universe? Xiaofan 555, hey. There's nothing I can do about it. It was left there during the great shift of heaven and earth. If I didn't take it away, wouldn't I be sorry for myself? Ryasuk Yagamai 6901, and if you accidentally expose yourself, will everything change? Xiaofan 555. Zhao Shui 123, haha. Newcomer, you guessed it right? As soon as this guy reached the first level, he went to pretend to compete, but he happened to be met by Yang Xiao, who also knew how to move the world, and he almost got killed on the spot. Xiaofan 555, shameless Yang Xiao. Bullying the small with the big. When I finally achieve great success, I will definitely make him look good. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 358. The world that Xiaofan traveled through turned out to be a place where he could rely on heaven and slay dragons. Ryasuk Yagamai looked surprised. I just don't know how many of the other people in this group have traveled to those known fantasy worlds, but the world I am in is definitely not that. Anyway, Yagamai Ryasuk has never heard of novels or TV series similar to his own world. It is more like a world with a more normal fantasy background. He thought to himself, he has also seen Yuntian City in the distance. Silhouette. Ryasuk Yagamai slowly descended, and then landed directly on the ground. Yuntian City, Westgate. Ryasuk Yagamai followed a caravan full of goods and entered this majestic city. It is indeed a city founded by Yuntian Daozong, but its scale is completely different from the previous Changlin town. Ryasuk Yagamai walked into the city and found that the quality of the warriors in the city had obviously improved significantly. The number of first-level warriors was still very large. But at the same time, the number of second-level warriors also increased sharply. Almost 4 out of 10 warriors have second-level strength. There are more than first-level warriors in number. However, the most numerous people in Yuntian City are ordinary people. After all, the main role of the city with a population of tens of millions is to serve the Yuntian Dao sect next door. And those who do these service jobs are basically ordinary people. Yagamai Ryasuke walked around the city and then found an inn to stay. In the hotel room. After Yagamai Ryasuke waved the waiter to leave, he opened the window and looked out at the street. This Yunzhou is only one of the 36 states in the world, but its scope is already hundreds of times larger than the entire ninja world. 03 The total of the 36 states, including Yunzhou, only occupies a corner of the demonic sky continent. The demonic continent is the name of the world where Ryusuke Yagamai is currently located. The entire continent is so large that it can be measured in light years. If the overseas sea areas are included, it can reach hundreds or even thousands of light years. Such a huge world is in line with the background of the fantasy world. After all, a battle between the strongest in the fantasy world may cover millions or even tens of millions of kilometers. If the world is really too small, wouldn't it be divided? Destroy the world in minutes? Of course. A strong man who has reached that level will not really break out a war on the ground. Their battlefield is usually in a higher airspace. However, there are limits to the world in the demonic sky continent. Level 6 it can only reach the limit by flying to an altitude of 5,000 meters. I just don't know what height it can reach at the 7th or 8th level. I don't know how this strange limit of heaven and earth came about. I stood at the window and looked at it for a while. Yagamai Ryasuke also turned around and returned to the room to sit down, and then took out several martial arts techniques that he had previously obtained from Linwuji. The martial arts techniques in Motion Continent only have 3 levels, heaven, earth, and human. And the difference it just depends on the efficiency of absorbing the energy of the world. There is no other difference. As for attributes, the first level Qi and Blood realm has no concept of this aspect. It mainly focuses on tempering the physical body. It is not until the second level True Qi realm that warriors will be involved in distinguishing attributes. But it is not caused by the martial arts, but the difference caused by different martial arts. For example, the fire attribute martial arts will convert the true energy into the fire attribute true energy when used, but the true energy in the warrior's body is not, it is divided into attributes. Only when you use martial arts with different attributes, it will be converted into a certain attribute of infuriating energy. But everyone has their own strengths. Not everyone is suitable for martial arts with all attributes. If you learn a martial skill with if the attribute martial arts are not suitable for you, then you can only get twice the result with half the effort, and the power of the martial arts will be greatly reduced. But if the martial arts you learn are very suitable for you, then you will get twice the result with half the effort, and the power of the martial arts will also be doubled. Generally speaking, this needs to be explored by martial artists themselves. You can try to learn several martial arts with different attributes to see which one is easiest to learn. Then you can basically determine that you are more suitable for that attribute of martial arts. And when a warrior's cultivation reaches the Kinkan realm, he or she can further understand martial arts until they form an attribute field. The strength of a warrior with a domain will far exceed that of a warrior in the same realm without a domain. They are basically crushed. And most of the Kinkan realm warriors are actually, it is difficult to understand the domain, unless you are a genius with outstanding talents. Otherwise, you may waste half your life on it and you may not be able to achieve anything. However, it is rare for a world realm warrior to not even have a domain. Unless your cultivation level comes from a wrong path. As for the domain lord realm, which is a higher level, it already involves the understanding of laws. But it is the same as the Kinkan realm comprehension field. It is the patent of a very few proud people. Ordinary domain lord realm warriors should not think about getting started with the laws. Domains can be divided into 9 levels. The next step in the 9-level realm is the introduction to the laws. When a warrior reaches the later stage, the realm of cultivation is still secondary. The most important thing is actually the understanding of the laws. If the laws are involved, those with high enlightenment, even if their cultivation level is low, can far surpass the former in combat power. On the contrary, if you have no cultivation level, your understanding of the law is not very good. Then it's very likely that you won't be able to beat someone at a level lower than you. That would be very embarrassing. As an outsider who has traveled through time, Yagami Ryusuke has no knowledge of what fields, laws, etc. Nothing has changed at all. Don't understand at all. Therefore, after learning about these situations in Linwaji's memory, Yagami Ryusuke asked him to give him the skills and martial arts he had practiced. Although Linwaji is only at the 3rd level of spiritual light realm, but he does have a Kinkan realm water attribute martial skill on hand. There are some records about the field above. Yagami Ryusuke wants to see himself. Can you learn something from it? Correct. He also has 2 copies of biopheromone in his hand. One belongs to Linwaji and the other belongs to Jiyan Ran. At that time, it can be converted into talent entries. Let's see what the talent entries converted into warriors in this fantasy world look like. With Linwaji and Jiyan Ran's 3rd level cultivation, that is also equivalent to the 6th level in the world of Naruto. If you convert it casually, there will be at least 3 golden entries. Maybe you're lucky. If you want to read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. You might even be able to convert 1 or 2 god level entries. Moreover, if the attributes are really good, what's the harm in spending some experience points to upgrade? Demonic Continent, the outer starry sky. A black palace exuding terrifying power came from the depths of the starry sky far away. Inside the palace, a pair of huge eyes stared at the continent below. I didn't expect that there is such a place on the edge of the human race's territory. This kind of continent with a diameter of more than 1,000 light-years is unique even within the territory of the human race, except for the headquarters of a few superpowers. Demonic Continent? There is no record of this continent within the clan. It seems to be a deserted land. Just right? I am about to retreat to understand the way of time and space. This continent should be destined for me. The owner of the mysterious huge eyes murmured a few words, and then controlled this huge black palace to descend on this magical continent. It landed in the center of the continent, on a towering mountain peak nearly half a light-year high. I am the Taoist master of time and space. From now on, this continent will be renamed Time and Space Continent. Yuanzhou, inside the Yuntian City Inn. Yagami Ryusuke, who had just opened the book on the Kinkan realm water attribute martial arts, suddenly opened his eyes and looked out the window. Just now, a majestic voice sounded in his mind, just a voice, from an unknown distance away, made him have the urge to worship. He immediately walked to the window and looked outside. Only to find that the street outside was already full of pedestrians kneeling. Everyone was kneeling on the ground with a confused expression, their heads raised, their eyes full of confusion and fear. Master of Time and Space. Directly changed the name of this continent. Ryusuke Yagami even had the urge to escape back to the world of Naruto for a moment. But he still suppressed it. If the other party really discovered his specialness and wanted to harm him, how could he do it now? Standing leisurely thinking about these things. Judging from the impulse to worship him with just a voice just now, this time and space Taoist's 440 strength is at least at the 8th level, or even the 9th level and above. Could this sound be heard by everyone in the demonic sky continent? No, it should be called the time and space continent now. Ryusuke Yagami thought in horror. If this is true, that would be terrifying. How big is the entire space-time continent? At least hundreds or thousands of light-years in size. A sound can cover such a large area and make countless people heard at the same time. All living beings hear it. Isn't it too scary? 8th level? 9th level? I'm afraid there's more to it than that. What kind of existence is the Taoist master of space and time at this time? Also, why did he change the name of Motion Continent? Is it to declare sovereignty? Ryosuke Yagamai was thinking in his mind. At the same time, throughout the time and space continent, countless powerful people also raised their heads and looked up at the sky at this time. Each of them looked horrified. It was like a turbulent wave was setting off in their hearts. Demonic Temple. Original demonic sky, the strongest force in the mainland. Its founder is the former master of the demonic continent. It is known as the Lord of the Demonic Sky. However, this Lord of the Demonic Sky has not appeared for billions of years. Although the Demonic Sky Temple has always managed the demonic continent, but in the view of the temple's senior officials, the Lord of the Demonic Sky has probably fallen. At this time, in a secret room deep inside the Demonic Sky Temple, a pair of eyes suddenly opened. Lord of the Universe? There is actually a Lord of the Universe who came to the Demonic Sky Continent. The tone of the owner of the eyes was full of fear. However, after waiting for a while, he did not see himself being summoned by the new Lord of the Universe. The owner of these eyes also secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that the Lord of the Universe has no ill intentions. He probably just discovered the Demonic Sky Continent by accident. He and the Master of the Demonic Sky should not be enemies. Master of Time and Space? Strange, why have I never heard of the name of the Lord of the Universe? Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 359. On this day, almost everyone in the entire Magic Sky continent was discussing about the Taoist Master of Time and Space, but no one knew who this Taoist Master of Time and Space was. From where? All I know is that the opponent's strength must be extremely terrifying. Otherwise, we would not have the qualifications to forcibly change the name of this continent. From now on, the Demonic Sky Continent will be renamed the Time and Space Continent. However, this does not have much impact on ordinary people and those low-level warriors. They should still eat and drink. This incident will not affect their lives at all. The next day, Ryosuke Yagamai came to the first floor of the inn to have dinner. While listening to what other guests were discussing in the lobby on the first floor, I was thinking about yesterday's practice. Yesterday, he practiced with the skills he got from Linwaji, and as a result, he skipped the first level of Qi and Blood Realm and directly entered the second level of True Qi Realm. The first ray of true energy was born in the body. After a night of practice, this true energy has increased dozens of times in size compared to its original size. His cultivation has also reached the second level of True Qi Realm. However, there are 9 levels of True Energy Realm. The second level is only the initial stage. It's still too early to reach the perfection of the True Qi Realm. But Yagamai Ryosuke only spent one night to raise his cultivation level to a higher level. At this speed, even if he just practiced simply, it would only take about a month to reach the 9th level of True Energy level. Then you can break through to the spiritual light realm. Ryosuke Yagamai guessed that this might be due to his own constitution. The accumulation of energy is extremely fast. That's why this extremely abnormal situation of cultivation efficiency occurs. However, the power of the gods in his body did not conflict with the true energy. It should be said that the two have no influence on each other. Such a result also made Ryosuke Yagamai breathe a sigh of relief. Before, he was worried whether the martial arts system in this fantasy world would conflict with his own ninja system. However, in fact, Ryosuke Yagamai's current cultivation level does not count in terms of the ninja system. After all, the upper limit of Naruto world is only level 4. And he has already reached the 6th level of cultivation. It has far exceeded the limit of the ninja system. Even Ryosuke Yagamai himself doesn't know what kind of system he has. But, who cares? It's not an important thing anyway. It's a pity that the 3 entries transformed into Linwaji yesterday were a bit useless. Ryosuke Yagami used a piece of Linwaji's hair to transform 3 golden entries yesterday. As a result, the attributes of the 3 golden entries cannot be said to be completely useless, but they are indeed quite useless. Let Ryosuke Yagami see this. People who are used to excellent entries are somewhat disgusted. Therefore, he did not upgrade or equip the 3 golden entries. He synthesized them directly. The gold was synthesized into God level, and the success rate was quite high. He synthesized it after more than 20 times, it was successful. However, the synthesized God level entries were just average. Yagami Ryosuke simply kept them and planned to use them with other God level entries to synthesize super God level entries. I hope Jianran's entry can be a little more powerful. While Yagami Ryosuke was waiting for the food to be served, he took out a piece of Jianran's hair and turned it into a talent entry. Ding! Conversion successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the talent entry, Martial Arts Genius, God, Yin-Yang Adjustment, Gold, Outstanding Comprehension, Gold. There is actually a God level entry. Ryosuke Yagami looked at the system prompts and couldn't help but be a little surprised. Jianran can do it? Sure enough, it was Linwaji who was so useless. Ryosuke. Yagami sighed inwardly. Then he opened the character panel and found these 3 newly converted entries. The first is the God level entry Martial Arts Genius. This entry is related to martial arts at first glance. This is to improve your martial arts practice qualifications. It should be useful. Martial Arts Genius, God, you are a genius who practices martial arts. You practiced at the age of 3, became successful at the age of 5, entered the True Chi realm at the age of 7, and reached the 9th level of the True Chi realm at the age of 13. Ever since you were young, you have been what other parents call other people's children, and your peers can only live in your shadow. Martial arts qualification adds 6000%. Incidental, life and death never ends. Life after life, your skills are being practiced automatically every moment. This entry works. Ryosuke. Yagami had an expression of it's just as I expected. This entry for Martial Arts Genius is indeed an improved martial arts qualification. A 60-fold increase, plus an automatic practice of endless life features. It's like cheating. Of course. The effect of practicing eternal life is definitely worse than practicing it on your own initiative. But Ryosuke Yagami felt it after putting this entry on the equipment and found that the difference was not very big, about 1/3. There are 12 hours in a day. 1/3 of it is equivalent to the effect of 4 hours of active cultivation. It's also very good. Moreover, the 60-fold improvement in martial arts qualifications also made Ryosuke Yagami's training more efficient. Even if this is not a direct 60-fold increase in efficiency in True Chi realm cultivation, it is still 10 times more efficient. In this case, eternal life with this characteristic, the efficiency of cultivation now is equivalent to the efficiency of Yagami Ryosuke's own initiative yesterday and about 3 times higher. It's like Yagami Ryosuke, who was practicing 12 hours a day, 24/7, and was stronger every day than he was 3 days ago. I have to say, the effect is outstanding. Just for a moment, Ryosuke Yagami felt that the amount of chi in his body had increased a lot. I guess 2 hours at most. With his cultivation in martial arts, he can automatically break through to the 3rd level of the True Chi realm. Okay, don't worry about it from now on, just let it practice automatically. Ryosuke Yagami smiled and thought to himself. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Then he clicked on the entry of Yin and Yang adjustment. This is a golden entry. I think of him back then. When he first awakened to the system, the golden entry was still a very powerful entry for Ryosuke Yagami. It helped him a lot in the early stage. But now, with the little effect of the golden entry, he is more or less a bit disdainful. Yin and Yang adjustment, Gold. You are good at adjusting the balance of Yin and Yang in the body, and have unique advantages in dual cultivation techniques. Double repair effect add 1500%. Attached, Yin and Yang transformation. Yin and Yang transformation, you can transform between men and women freely. Looking at the attributes of this entry, Ryosuke Yagami didn't know what to say for a moment. Do you think it's bad? People improve the effect of double cultivation. But you say it's okay? It comes with the ability to change gender from male to female, which is a bit strange to Ryosuke Yagami. Forget it, let's leave it for now. Anyway, I don't have any dual cultivation techniques. Ryosuke Yagami thought that he wouldn't be able to use this entry for the time being, but he thought about what if he could use it in the future? So he kept it for now. But no equipment is needed. After all, Ryosuke Yagami doesn't have the ability to practice dual cultivation. Why equip it? Want to experience the effect of Yin and Yang transformation? There is a hole in his head. The last one is left. It has outstanding understanding. It seems to be an entry related to understanding. Ryosuke Yagami turned off the information about this yin-yang adjustment entry, and then his eyes fell on the last entry. Entries related to comprehension. Ryosuke Yagami had also transformed in the past to improve learning ability. No, do you know if these two are the same? Outstanding understanding, Gold. Your understanding is very outstanding, and it often only takes 1/10 of the time for others to master a martial skill. Comprehension add 3000%. The attributes of this entry are quite simple. There is only one attribute that adds understanding, but there are many more. 30x bonus. Originally, Yagami Ryosuke felt that his understanding was quite good. He had seen 3 martial arts skills from Linwaji yesterday. Just by flipping through it, I felt like I had already understood something. Such understanding should be considered quite good, right? And now, after having a 30 times bonus, Yagami Ryosuke's understanding is probably already comparable to that of those so-called super geniuses, Lee Haseo. Thinking of this, Ryosuke Yagami also recalled the content of the 3 martial arts movies he watched yesterday. Looking back at this moment, Yagami Ryosuke suddenly found that he had a new understanding, and he felt that he could easily perform it anytime and anywhere. He gestured a little with one hand, and felt that the wisps of Genkai in his body were moving through his body with the movements of his hands, and finally transformed into a hot Genkai energy that gathered in his hand. Flame Palm. This is one of the 3 martial arts that Ryosuke Yagami watched yesterday, one of the fire attribute martial arts. It is a 3rd-level spiritual light realm martial skill. In fact, 2 of the 3 martial arts are in the spiritual light realm. Only the last one is about the 4th level of the universe. It involves some aspects of the field, but not much. It just briefly introduces it and mentions some techniques on how to understand the field. Is this done? Ryosuke Yagami looked at himself and turned red, like a piece of red-hot iron palm. He didn't expect that this fire palm could be practiced so easily. It is indeed a 30 times comprehension bonus. It is amazing. Easily, I have mastered this flame palm to the level of success. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 360. Yuntian Taoist Sect. In front of the mountain gate, a group of young men and women are gathering in front of the mountain gate of Yuntian Daozong. Today is the day of Yuntian Dao Sect's annual entrance examination. The candidates who obtained the admission tokens came to the gate of Yuntian Daozong early and waited for the assessment to begin. Every year, the entrance examination of Yuntian Dao Sect attracts countless young girls from all over Yunzhou to take the examination. However, Yuntian Dao sect only recruits 300 outer disciples every year. And if you want to participate in the entrance examination of Yuntian Dao sect, you must also hold the access token. Otherwise, you won't even be qualified to participate in the assessment. At this time, the thousands of boys and girls gathered in front of the mountain gate are all people with access tokens. Either they had a profound background or they had outstanding talents and were valued by the traveling elders of the Yuntian Dao sect, and were given access tokens. Young warriors with average qualifications or no background would never appear here. As the largest martial arts sect in Yunzhou, the entry requirements for Yuntian Dao sect are not low. Age must be under 18 years old. The martial arts cultivation level must not be lower than the true Qi realm. That's it, it's just the most basic requirement. The content of the actual entrance examination is much more stringent than this. However, if you are under the age of 18 and have at least the 9th level of true Qi realm, then it is almost a sure thing to win one of the 300 places. After all, anyone under the age of 18 who is at the 9th level of the true Qi realm is considered a pretty good genius even if he is placed in the Yuntian Dao sect. Can't say it's particularly outstanding, but at least it is above the average 710 line. And if you are a spiritual light realm warrior under the age of 18, that's even better. Maybe an elder from the inner sect will come forward in person and accept you as a disciple. When the time comes, you won't even have to go to the outer sect, and you will become a disciple of the inner sect by entering directly. Did you all hear that sound yesterday? I heard it, that Taoist master of time and space is so awesome. My guard captain was already a Qinkan realm cultivator, but he knelt down on the spot. What is the Qinkan realm? I heard that even those in the world realm couldn't help but kneel down. Do you think our continent will really be renamed the time and space continent in the future? Whatever you call it, it has nothing to do with us. Also, we may not even be able to leave Yunzhou in this life. The name of the world we live in really has nothing to do with us. It's you who can't get out of Yunzhou. I will definitely leave Yunzhou in the future and go see the outside world. I don't care about the name of the continent. What I care about now is whether I can pass the entrance examination of Yuntian Daozong today. I just roughly counted, there are almost 6,000 to 7,000 people coming to take the assessment this time. A pass rate of just over 1/20 is too difficult. In front of the mountain gate, some boys and girls gathered together, whispering to each other. Some people marveled at the big event that happened yesterday. Some people were worried about the entrance examination that was about to start later, for fear that they would not be able to pass the assessment. Some people are already 18 years old. This year is their last chance. If they fail to pass the entry assessment of Yuntian Daozong this year, it means that they will never have the opportunity to join Yuntian Daozong in their lifetime. From now on, we can only settle for the next best thing and choose a worse sect to join. It is said that there are 3 million sects in Yunzhou. But the strongest among them is only the Yuntian Dao sect. Other sects, even those rank second, the second level is much worse than the Yuntian Dao sect. Not to mention anything else, just one sentence is enough to explain the difference between the Yuntian Dao sect and those other sects. In the entire Yunzhou, only the Yuntian Dao sect has more than 10 territory lord realm powerhouses sit in command. As for other sects, only 2 or 3 are able to stand up to the sky. Moreover, it is said that the territory lord realm powerhouses of Yuntian Dao sect have a good understanding of the law. This is also true of other sections. They are incomparable. Their strength is not at the same level at all. Therefore, young people in Yunzhou are proud to join the Yuntian Dao sect. It is a pity that the entrance requirements of the Yuntian Dao sect are too high, and there are strict requirements for the number of disciples recruited every year. Unlike other sects, you can come as many as you want. If there is a quality that cannot match your Yuntian Dao sect, then I will crush you in terms of quantity. The number of Yuntian Dao sect's disciples exceeds 200,000. But in fact, it is just a miscellaneous. There are more than 100,000 serving disciples. In addition to the nearly 50,000 outer disciples, the two add up to nearly 200,000. And excluding these two, there are truly inner disciples, and above the number of disciples is less than 30,000. But these 30,000 people are all real geniuses, without exception. They are the most outstanding ones at the same level. At least, this is the case in Yunzhou. That's right. A sudden exclamation came from the crowd in front of the mountain gate. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. Look at the sky. Someone shouted loudly. The next moment, thousands of people raised their heads and looked into the sky. Suddenly a figure flew over their heads, flew into the mountain gate of Yuntian Dao sect, and was hit by a shining golden rune. Barrier blocks. He is a strong man in the world. Some people exclaimed. In the time and space continent, those who can fly without the help of external objects are the last ones in the world realm. And they can't tell whether the figure in the sky is the world realm or the territory lord realm. As for the territory lord realm, the existence on the ADEA. That kind of big man will never come to a small and remote place like Yunzhou. Places like Zhongzhou and Yuanzhou are where such big men should go. It's not like Yunzhou didn't appear before the strong men above the domain master realm, but those strong men, without exception, all chose to leave Yunzhou and go to a bigger stage to seek better development. Oh my God! What does that person want to do? He is attacking the sect protecting formation of Yuntian Dao sect. Could it be an evil spirit? No, judging from his attack methods, he doesn't look like a demon. He might be an enemy of Yuntian Dao sect. Look! The strong men from Yuntian Dao sect are also here. Below, the crowd outside the mountain gate let out repeated exclamations. And high in the sky, Yagamai Ryozuk condensed a beam of ice blue energy in his hand and blasted it at the sect protecting formation in front of him. I have to say, this thing is indeed quite powerful. He used the power of ice escape bloodline that had evolved to the late 5th level to attack, but it only caused a few ripples on the sect protecting formation. Let alone break the formation. I can't even make a little big noise. Try dust release. The white energy in the palm of Ryasuke Yagamai's right hand formed a square cube. As he pushed his palm, a beam of light instantly shot out from the center of the cube and hit the golden protective sect formation in front of him. This time, there were more ripples spreading on the formation, and the spread range was larger. Some golden runes also released a brighter light. Obviously, the power of dust escape is more destructive than the previous ice escape power. The power of the sect protector formation was even stronger, so the sect protector formation had to increase the energy level of its defense to fight against it. Coupled with the erasure effect of the dust escape itself, its destructive power reached a higher level. It has already evolved to the dust escape bloodline of the 5th level invincible level. At this moment, in terms of destructive power, it is probably comparable to a quasi 6th level attack. Seeing that the effect is good, Yagamai Ryasuke is about to continue his attack to see what extent. Only an attack can break through the sect protecting formation. But at this moment, in the Yuntian sect's mountain gate in front of him, figures suddenly came with a series of moves, rushed out of the sect protecting formation, and surrounded him. Who dare you come to our Yuntian Dao sect and act recklessly? Ryasuke Yagamai stopped what he was doing and glanced at these 6 people. Without exception, the 6 people were all at the 5th level of strength, that is, the world level experts in the time and space continent. These 6 people should be the Yuntian Dao section at the top level. But not the top level yet. After all, Yagamai Ryasuke knew that Yuntian Dao sect had 6th order domain lord realm powerhouses sitting in charge. And it was said that there were quite a few of them. You are no match for me, get out of the way. Ryozuk Yagamai said. Damn it! Get it for me. When Ling Yongxiao heard this, he immediately shouted angrily. Ling Yongxiao is the 89th generation master of Yuntian Dao sect. His cultivation has reached the pinnacle of the world level. His strength is second only to those ancestors in the sect. Ling Yunxiao has great ambitions and dreams of developing the Yuntian Dao sect to a more powerful level, leaving Yunzhou, looking at the whole world, and even becoming one of the top 10 superpowers in the time and space continent in the future. Therefore, provoking the Yuntian Dao sect like this will not. He hated the thieves who took the majesty of Yuntian Dao sect seriously. As Ling Yongxiao gave an order, the 5 inner sect elders around him also took action at the same time, instantly releasing a series of terrifying attacks towards the center. Ryusuke Yagami. Each of these inner sect elders is very powerful, and their mastery of the field has all reached the 9th level. Ling Yongxiao himself has even touched the threshold of the law. Among the same level, few people can rival him. At this time, these 6 people take action together. Even a world-level expert who has entered the law will be seriously injured and escape, or even be killed on the spot. What a pity! Ryusuke Yagami is not the 5th level, but the 6th level. And it's still the 6th level. With this level of attack, tickling him isn't enough. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 361. Various attacks that could not be condensed in the field bombarded Yagami Ryusuke's body. The terrifying power is enough to blast a 10,000-foot high mountain into powder. However, these attacks fell on Ryusuke Yagami, but they were not able to break even a corner of his clothes. This is the field. Ryusuke Yagami felt the attacks of the 6 of them carefully. He found that the so-called field seemed to be similar to his bloodline ability. The bloodline ability that evolved to the 5th level can basically be compared with the 9th level of these fields. The effect is the same. And among the reincarnation eyes and reincarnation eyes, the bloodline abilities that have evolved to the 6th level have far exceeded the so-called domain level. So, in fact, I have already mastered the fields and laws. Is it just that I don't know? Ryusuke Yagami felt dumbfounded. However, he also knew that the fields and laws of the martial arts world were understood through his own perception. And his bloodline ability was innate. No, you need to understand something. You will know it naturally. But, this also led to Ryusuke Yagami knowing it but not knowing why. He can use it, but he doesn't know what the principle is. It's like you can drive, but you can't build a car. Yagami Ryusuke didn't even know that his bloodline abilities were actually equivalent to fields and even laws. All his abilities were obtained through bloodline, and now he is best at the same is true for the means. The power of the gods is just the driving energy. The bloodline ability is the means of attack and defense. Maybe I can understand the principles of its use through my own bloodline ability. Ryusuke Yagami suddenly thought to himself. The warriors in this world all use attribute martial arts to understand the fields of different attributes, and then gradually comprehend, step by step, upgrade to the 9th level of the field, and then step into the threshold of the law. And this in fact, they have nothing to refer to for the whole process. Therefore, it is very difficult to understand. It requires excellent understanding to do it. Or they have to wait for the realm to rise to a higher level and have a deeper understanding of the nature of heaven and earth. If you understand, even if your understanding is slightly poor, you can still understand the true meaning of the domain or the law. But Ryusuke Yagami is different. His innate blood ability is equivalent to the manifestation of the laws of heaven and earth. At the 5th level, he is born with the power of blood is enough to reach the limit of the field. It's like when you go to take an exam, and you find that you carry a book with the answers to all the questions at a glance, and you can read it casually. Comparing this, you can naturally understand with ease to fields and even laws. As for Ryusuke Yagami himself, he can already use the effects of fields and laws with his bloodline ability. Is there any need to spend time to understand it? In fact, this is in the eyes of the beholder. If Yagami Ryuzyuk is the kind of person who is content with the status quo, so he naturally doesn't need to do this. Anyway, he just takes it step by step. When he upgrades the corresponding entry to the supreme level in the future, his bloodline ability will naturally increase as well. Level up. You can become stronger without spending much energy. However, if Yagami Ryuzyuk is more motivated and takes the initiative to understand the rules and refer to his own bloodline ability, he can completely achieve the effect of 1 add 1 greater than 2. Effect. Even, for example, Ryuzyuk Yagami's current bloodline ability is the 6th level. With reference to this level of bloodline ability, coupled with his excellent understanding, he can even comprehend the power of laws at the 7th level. By then, Ryuzyuk Yagami he is a strong man of the 7th level. Instead of just relying on his bloodline ability to reach the 6th level, and then he can only slowly wait for the entry to be upgraded. For super god level entries, it is so slow to upgrade to the supreme level. How long will Ryuzyuk Yagami save 10 billion experience points? This is on the premise that he does not spend a single point. As for combining 2 by 2, using super god level entries to synthesize supreme level entries, isn't that impossible? But the synthesized supreme level entry may not necessarily be what Ryuzyuk Yagami wants. What if an auxiliary supreme level entry is synthesized? So, it is best to take the initiative to understand the corresponding laws. Yagami Ryuzyuk obviously has such excellent prerequisites, but if he still wastes his resources so much, it would be such a waste. After all, not everyone has the bloodline ability like him, which can be used as a reference to improve understanding the efficiency of the law. Generally speaking, the human race does not have any special bloodline abilities. In this world, only special life races have such advantages. However, Ryuzyuk Yagami, a human, has multiple bloodline abilities. Like this, if other people find out about the situation, they will be envious and separated from each other. What? How come? Ling Yongxiao and others looked at Ryuzyuk Yagami, who was unharmed under the attacks of 6 of them, and their eyes widened in disbelief. You are not in the world realm. You are in the domain lord realm. Ling Yongxiao suddenly understood something and exclaimed. When did I say that I was in the world realm? Ryuzyuk Yagami said with a slight smile. Upon hearing this, the expressions of Ling Yongxiao and others suddenly changed. The next second. Run. The 6 people fled directly towards the protector's formation. Facing a strong man in the domain lord realm, how could the 6 of them with mere world realm cultivation be their opponents? Let alone the 6 of them just now they shot together and didn't even hurt the other party. This gap is already obvious, right? Therefore, at this time, the only way to ensure their safety is to escape into the sect protecting formation. Still want to run now? Ryuzyuk Yagami chuckled. Then he stretched out his hand and made a move of Wangxiang Tianyin, and in an instant he was 6 people who escaped were captured. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. The reincarnation eye that has evolved to the 6th level has already touched the realm of laws with all its abilities. Ryuzyuk Yagami didn't know before. But now he knows. Using this move of all-seeing tension again, with his superior understanding, Yagami Ryuzyuk even understood something from it. But now is not the time to think about this. After this matter is finished, it will not be too late for him to reflect on it carefully. Heavenly Capital Reincarnation Royal. A red light flashed in Ryuzyuk Yagami's eyes. In an instant, all 6 people in front of him, including Ling Yongxiao, the leader of the Yuntian Dao sect, were shrunk to a size invisible to the naked eye. The 6 people were trapped in his palm. No matter how you try to escape, you can't escape. Yagami Ryuzyuk looked down at the 6 of them in his palms and said with a smile, if you want to live, obediently hand over the treasures you have. At this time, in the world of Ling Yongxiao and the 6 of them, they seemed to be trapped on an extremely huge wall. There were ravines intersecting horizontally and vertically around them, some were bottomless, and some were only shallow. And looking around, I can't even see the end. Where is this place? Sect Master, are we trapped in a certain magic weapon? This is how to do. The other party is a strong person in the territory Lord realm. How can we escape? Sect Master, please think of a solution quickly. Can you still contact Ancestor and the others now? The 5 people were noisy. Ling Yongxiao also frowned in annoyance. Shut up. Ling Yongxiao shouted angrily. I will try now to see if I can contact the Ancestor and the others. As long as the Ancestor and the others take action, we will be fine, he said. After hearing this, the other 5 inner sect elders also closed their mouths and stopped talking. At this moment, Yagami Ryusuk's voice like the sound of heaven resounded throughout this world. Ling Yongxiao, when the 6 people heard this, they couldn't help but look ugly. This thief actually wants the treasure I am waiting for. He is simply wishful thinking. That is, if you say you let us go just by handing over the treasure, do you really think we are fools? Sect Master, have you contacted the Ancestor? 5 pairs of eyes looked at Ling Yongxiao. Got in touch. Ling Yongxiao held a golden bead in his hand, and there was a hint of joy in his eyes. He originally thought that he and others were trapped in this magic weapon, and it was very likely that they would not be able to use the communication golden bead to contact anyone in the section Ancestors. He didn't expect to get in touch so easily. It was much easier than he thought. Very good. The 5 inner sect elders were also surprised. At the same time, Yagami Ryusuk also noticed Ling Yongxiao's little movements. Is this contacting the 6th level experts in the sect? Ryusuk Yagami was not worried at all. After all, after learning that his bloodline ability was equivalent to the manifestation of the law, he had nothing to fear from the same level warriors in this world. Even if there is more than one strong person in the Tiandao sect with the strength of the 6th level domain lord. But Ryusuk Yagami's 6th level peak bloodline ability is not a vegetarian either. It's not necessarily any weaker than them. Come on, let me see how far the so-called domain lord realm's strength can reach. Ryusuk Yagami even had some expectations in his heart. After all, he hasn't fought against an evenly matched enemy for a long time. So much so that he was a little vague about his true strength. He only knew that he was at the peak of the 6th level. But the 6th level, what exactly is the peak like? What is the gap with other 6th level peak combat powers? Yagami Ryusuk doesn't know anything about this. Now, he will finally meet an opponent with the same 6th level strength as himself. How could Yagami Ryusuk not be excited? He has been waiting for this day for a long time. I hope this domain lord realm expert from Yuntian Dao sect will not disappoint him.